Once on a time Balder dreamed heavy dreams which seemed to forebode his death. Thereupon the gods held a council and resolved to make him secure against every danger. So the goddess Frigg took an oath from fire and water, iron and all metals, stone and earth, from trees, sicknesses and poisons, and from all four-footed beasts, birds, and creeping things, that they would not hurt Balder. When this was done, Balder was deemed invulnerable, so the gods amused themselves by setting him in their midst, while some shot at him, others hewed at him, and others threw stones at him. But whatever they did, nothing could hurt him, and at this they were all glad. Only Loki the mischief-maker was displeased, and he went in the guise of an old woman to Frigg, who told him that the weapons of the gods could not wound Balder, since she had made them all swear not to hurt him. Then Loki asked, "Have all these things sworn to spare Balder?" She answered, "East of Valhalla grows a plant called mistletoe. It seemed to me too young to swear." So Loki went and pulled the mistletoe, and took it to the assembly of the gods. There he found the blind god Hother standing at the outside of the circle. Loki asked him, "Why do you not shoot at Balder?" Hother answered, "Because I do not see where he stands. Besides, I have no weapon." Then Loki said, "Do like the rest, and show Balder honor as they do. I will show you where he stands, and you will shoot him with this twig." Hother took the mistletoe and threw it at Balder as Loki directed him. The mistletoe struck Balder and pierced him through, and he fell down dead. And that was the greatest misfortune that ever befell gods and men. For a while the gods stood speechless. Then they lifted up their voices and wept bitterly. They took Balder's body and brought it to the seashore. There stood Balder's ship. It was called Ringhorn, and was the hugest of all ships. The gods wished to launch the ship and to burn Balder's body on it, but the ship would not stir. So they sent for a giantess called Hyrrokkin. She came riding on a wolf, and gave the ship such a push that fire flashed from the rollers, and all the earth shook. Then Balder's body was taken and placed on the funeral pile upon his ship. When his wife Nanna saw that, her heart burst for sorrow, and she died. So she was laid on the funeral pile with her husband, and fire was put to it. Balder's horse, too, with all its trappings, was burned on the pile. Whether he was a real or merely a mythical personage, Balder was worshipped in Norway. On one of the bays of the beautiful Sogne Fjord, which penetrates far into the depths of the solemn Norwegian mountains, with their sombre pine forests and their lofty cascades dissolving into spray before they reach the dark water of the fjord below, Balder had a great sanctuary. It was called Balder's Grove. A palisade enclosed the hallowed ground, and within it stood a spacious temple with the images of many gods, but none of them was worshipped with such devotion as Balder. So great was the awe with which the heathen regarded the place that no man might harm another there, nor steal his cattle, nor defile himself with women. But women cared for the images of the gods in the temple. They warmed them at the fire, anointed them with oil, and dried them with cloths. Whatever may be thought of an historical kernel underlying a mythical husk in the legend of Balder, the details of the story suggest that it belongs to that class of myths which have been dramatized and ritual, or, to put it otherwise, which have been performed as magical ceremonies for the sake of producing those natural effects which they describe in figurative language. A myth is never so graphic and precise in its details as when it is, so to speak, the book of the words which are spoken and acted by the performers of the sacred rite. That the Norse story of Balder was a myth of this sort will become probable if we can prove that ceremonies resembling the incidents in the tale have been performed by Norsemen and other European peoples. Now, the main incidents in the tale are two. First, the pulling of the mistletoe, and second, the death and burning of the god, and both of them may perhaps be found to have had their counterparts in yearly rites observed, whether separately or conjointly, by people in various parts of Europe. These rites will be described and discussed in the following chapters. We shall begin with the annual festivals of fire, and shall reserve the pulling of the mistletoe for consideration later on. End of chapter 61.